Jinwoo is completely wiped out after finishing his job change quest and is just chilling in bed when his sister Gina calls. She reminds him about her parent-teacher meeting, and even though he's exhausted, he agrees to go. When he shows up at the school and is in for a shock, Gon is the plain, unassuming Jinwoo instead. He's rocking a sleek new bob cut and some seriously stylish clothes. Gina's jaw drops and she teases him, asking what happened to her normal older brother. As they walk through the halls, Jinwoo turns heads, with some of Gina's classmates clearly mesmerized by his new look. Gina, grinning, jokes that she could help him find someone to hook up with. Jinwoo, unfazed, just pinch her cheek and calmly shuts down the idea. At the meeting, Jenna's teacher praises her achievements but then brings up a serious topic. What if Jinna awakens as a hunter? The teacher asks Jinwoo for his thoughts and he doesn't hesitate. He firmly says he'd never let Jinna become a hunter, even if she awakened, because it's too dangerous. The conversation shifts to Jinao's friend, Songyi, whose future as a hunter is also a concern. The teacher asks Jinwoo for advice, sensing he knows more about the hunter world than he lets on. Later, Jinwoo meets Songyi, the E-rank hunter that he and Jinwoo recruited earlier, who happens to be one of Jina's classmates. When Songyi realizes Jinwoo's brother, she tells him she has no plans to quit being a hunter, despite their earlier conversation. Jinwoo nods, respecting her determination, and asks her to come with him somewhere. Meanwhile, Hwang Dong-soo arrives in Korea from the US and is greeted at the airport by Woo Jinchul from the Hunter Association. Hwang's not impressed, making snarky comments about Korea being old-fashioned and acting surprised that someone like Jinchul would personally welcome him. Jinchul, keeping his cool, asks how long Hwang plans to stay. Hwang casually says he doesn't care much for Korea and reveals his real goal: to find Jinwoo and Jinho, not just to track them down, but to kill them in a dungeon. He plans to take out the E rank first, then the D rank. He taunts Jinchul, asking if a scrub like him plans to stop him. Jinchul, unfazed, simply says he's just doing his job. Over at the Hunters Guild headquarters, Choi Jong-in updates Go Gun-hee about their third raid on Jeju Island, which Choi led. He drops a bombshell: the ants they fought have started growing wings. Go is visibly alarmed, realizing how dangerous that evolution could be. Choi tries to reassure him, saying the ants can only fly short distances for now, but warns that could change. Go tells Choi he'll look into it immediately. Back to Jinwoo, he and Songyi arrive at a C-rank gate, where they meet An and Hyun. Jinwoo had called in a favor from An, so they're allowed to join a mission organized by the White Tiger Guild. The mission is meant to help new hunters practice, and Jinwoo belonged to show her how tough hunter life can be. They're introduced to Kim Cole, an A-rank tanker from the White Tiger Guild, who is immediately annoyed by the presence of two E-rank hunters. He thinks they'll just slow the team down. But things take a dark turn when Jinwoo notices the gate starting to transform into a red gate. He grabs Songyi's hand and tries to escape, but the gate seals shut before they can get out. Jinwoo shouts to An and the others outside, telling them to alert the primary raid team immediately. An contacts Baek Yoonho, the White Tiger Guild master, who's shocked to hear a C-rank gate has turned red. Baek promises to come right away. Inside the red gate, the team finds themselves in a completely different world, a snowy forested landscape that's eerily quiet. Kim Chul explains the situation. They're trapped in a red gate, which is far more dangerous than a regular gate. They'll have to defeat the dungeon boss to escape. Songyi, confused, asks Jinwoo what a red gate is, and he explains it cuts off all contact with the outside world and forces hunters to clear the dungeon to survive. As Jinwoo was explaining, two ice arrows shoot out from the forest. One kills a C-rank hunter instantly, while the other Jinwoo catches it midair, saving Songyi's life. Park Hee-jin, a B-rank hunter, notices Jinwoo's incredible reflexes and starts to wonder if he's really just an E-rank. The group spots two ice elves in the trees, who mock them before retreating. Jinwoo, annoyed, snaps the arrow in his hand. Songyi, shaken, asks Jinwoo about the attackers, and he explains they're ice elves, known for being cruel and sadistic. Kim Chul takes charge, explaining that their support from outside is cut off and the dungeon boss is likely B-rank or higher. He splits the team into two groups, the stronger hunters with him and the weaker ones left to fend for themselves. All A-rank and B-rank hunters join Kim's team, but when a C-rank hunter asks to join, Kim refuses, saying only A and B ranks can come. He explains that one day inside the red gate equals 1 hour outside, meaning they could be stuck for months. He tells the weaker group to just survive until his team defeats the boss. Park Hee-jin surprises everyone by volunteering to join the weaker team. Kim allows it, figuring she has her reasons. Before they split up, Hee-jin quietly asks Jinwoo if he's really an E-rank. Noting that Kim didn't even see the ice arrow earlier, the two groups head in opposite directions, with Kim leading his team toward the clearing and Jinwoo guiding his team into the forest. Both leaders wish each other luck before parting ways. Kim Chul's group runs into some serious trouble inside the red gate. As they're trudging through the icy Westland, they get ambushed by a bunch of ice elves. The attack is crazy fast and brutal. Several hunters are taken out almost instantly. Kim Chul, despite being an A-rank hunter, he totally panics. Instead of stepping up as a leader, he bails on his team to save his own skin. Meanwhile, Jinwoo's group is holding it together thanks to his quick thinking and growing power. He pulls out warm clothes and supplies from his inventory to help his team survive the freezing cold. Knowing more danger is coming, he summons his shadow soldiers to keep watch. Sure enough, a pack of ice bears shows up and attacks. The shadow soldiers jump into action, but things get dicey when the ice bear leader shows up. Jinwoo doesn't hesitate. He calls Igris his top-tier shadow warrior. The fight is intense, but Igris takes down the ice bear leader like a boss, proving just how much Jinwoo's powers have leveled up. Just when it seems like they might catch a break, the leader of the Ice Elves, Barca, shows up. His arrival is straight up ominous, and it's clear he's way more dangerous than anything they've faced so far. And now things are really heating up. Meanwhile, outside the gate, only 3 hours have passed. Huang Dongsu is getting impatient. He's itching for a showdown with Jinwoo but is stuck waiting. When he realizes Jinwoo has ties to manager An, he shifts his frustration to him, ready to attack. But before he can do any real damage, Bak Yuno steps in, unleashing his claws. Sparks fly as the two S-rank hunters clash, shaking the air with every strike. Back inside the icy wasteland of the Red Gate, Kim Chul is losing his mind. Wandering alone, overwhelmed by fear, he stumbles upon the slaughtered ice bears and panics, convinced that the dreaded ice elves are nearby. Outside, Wu Jinchul arrives just in time to break up the fight between Huan and Yunoho. Wang is still furious but backs off when Wu reminds him that Jinwoo was officially ranked as an E-rank hunter. Not convinced, he shifts his suspicion toward Yu Jinho, but realizing he has no solid proof, then he leaves for now. Meanwhile, inside the gate, the low-rank hunters are gathered around a fire, enjoying a much-needed meal. But their peace is short-lived when Kim Cole shows up. Seeing them alive while his comrade's Parish sends him into a rage, he lashes out, demanding answers and even threatens them with his sword. Just when things are about to escalate, Jinwoo appears from the shadows and takes him down with a single strike. But Jinwoo has bigger problems. He senses the presence of invisible enemies. The Ice Elf leader finally reveals himself, speaking in his native language. The real shock is that Jinwoo understands him and even responds in the same tongue, much to his own surprise. After easily dispatching a high-ranking elf with a single blow, Jinwoo learns a disturbing truth: all monsters are instinctively driven to kill humans except when it comes to him. This revelation makes him question the nature of the mysterious system guiding him. Barca offers a deal. Surrender and he'll let the remaining hunters live. Jinwoo, of course, refuses. Instead, he summons his shadow army and an all-out battle erupts. As the other hunters take cover, Jinwoo quickly realizes Barca is on a whole different level. His normal summons won't be enough. The fight between them begins in a flurry of intense, blinding strikes. Amidst the chaos, Kim Chul regains consciousness. But instead of learning his lesson, he makes the worst decision possible, attacking Jinwoo. Before he even gets close, Igris takes him down instantly. Seeing an opportunity, Jinwoo extracts Chul's shadow, bringing forth a towering, powerful warrior named Iron. While not the smartest, Iron proves to be a valuable ally in the fight against Barca. Jinwoo, Igris, and Iron work together with perfect synergy. Jinwoo's speed, Igris's deadly precision, and Iron's brute strength gradually wear Barca down. In the final moments of the battle, Jinwoo distracts Barca with a returning dagger while Iron pins him down. Then, with one final crushing blow, Iron smashes a warhammer into Barca, ending the fight once and for all. As the dust settles, the surviving hunters finally breathe a sigh of relief. The nightmare is over. Outside, Baek Yoonho and manager An watch as the Red Gate reverts to blue. But to their surprise, it's not Kim Chul who steps out, it's Jinwoo and the other low-rank hunters. An isn't the least bit shocked. He knew Jinwoo would make it out alive. Yoonho, on the other hand, has to come to terms with the reality of Kim Chul's death. Wanting answers, Yoonho confronts Jinwoo, but Jinwoo calmly turns the tables on him, pointing out that he should be grateful for the lives that were saved. Realizing he was out of line, Yoonho apologizes. As Jinwoo walks off with Son Yi, Yoonho tells An to do whatever it takes to recruit him. On his way home, Jinwoo reflects on everything that happened inside the gate. Barca's weapon is a nice reward, but it doesn't take away the weight of killing a human, something he's now done 3 times. But there's no time to Dwarning arrives and Yu Jinho shows up in fresh, shiny armor, ready for their next adventure. To his surprise, Song Yi is joining them too, and just like that, another eventful day begins. Jinwoo and Jinho completing the 19th and final raid needed for Jinho to be a guildmaster. Yu Jinho is in shock as he sees Sung Jinwoo's shadow army for the first time. The Shadow Soldiers work efficiently in their latest raid, slaying magic beasts and even harvesting the dungeon's essence stones for them. Jinho is briefly convinced that he's been replaced, but after the raid and subsequent mining of mana crystals, Jinwoo and Jinho celebrate the completion of the guild raid requirements with beer. Jinho still has to complete a written exam and convince his father to let him take over their family's guild, but he's close to his goal. Jinho tells Jinwoo about how his older brother of 10 years came to dislike him and never spent time with him, so he wishes Jinwoo was his older brother. Jinwoo smiles and says kindly that, starting today, he considers Jinho his younger brother, which makes him shed a few tears of joy. Elsewhere, in another dark dungeon, an unknown man on a wrecked ship-like dungeon advancing on an English-speaking man in full armor. The English-speaking man is terrified as it's clear that the unknown man took out his allies. he can tell that they have a language barrier, so he tells James in English that he's human and wants to go home. He is taken into custody by the Americans, who call upon S-rank hunter Wong Dong-soo fresh from his Korea trip to talk to him in case he's dangerous. The strange man claims to have been trapped in a gate over 10 years ago, emerging from a gate that appeared in the United States. Since he emerged from a gate, there's no way of knowing if he's some kind of human-shaped monster. When Hwang Dong-soo arrives, he comes with his characteristic arrogance and the strange man's cryptic musings about how little humanity actually knows about the gates. The dungeons and the magical energy that now permeates the world only make him bolder. This man is revealed to be none other than Sung Il-won, the father of Sung Jinwoo and Jina, who went missing around 10 years. Il-won claims that his goal is to prevent a disaster from happening, one that not even all the hunters in the world would be able to thwart. Dong-soo rids Il-won's file and learns that he's Jinwoo's father, unleashing a murderous aura as he tells the talking magic beast that he should meet Jinwoo, of whom he believes is already dead, in hell. Jinwoo gets ready to leave for a week-long trip to the Demon King's castle. His sister, Jina, comments that he's been busy lately. Jinwoo has the elixir of life on his mind and wants to gather its required ingredients to cure his mother from her strange illness. Entering the castle, Jinwoo is shocked when the system assigns him a quest to kill 10,000 magic beasts. Determined to save his mom, he accepts. As Jinwoo clears the castle's floors, he gains levels while progressing up the tower. He summons a shadow ice bear and names it Tank to help speed up travel. Reaching the 50th floor, Jinwoo confronts avaricious Vulcan, a gigantic orc demon who is faster than he looks and severely outmatches Jinwoo in terms of strength. The battle against Vulcan is short but really exciting for how dynamic the animation is in this scene. Jinwoo's confidence has grown, and the way he deals with Vulcan's immense speed and strength shows how used to dangerous situations he has become. His dramatic finisher on Vulcan earns him several new pieces of gear and various rare items. When Jinwoo's army advances on to the next boss, Metis, Guide of Souls territory, he drops a solid Vegeta reference when he asks if the undead can experience fear. After putting in a solid shift, Jinwoo only has one more ingredient to hunt down before he can make the holy water. Jinwoo eventually runs out of time and supplies on the 75th floor. The journey proves valuable, with significant level gains, another secret dungeon key, and 2 of the 3 components for the elixir of life now in his possession. Opting to head back home for now, not knowing just how much commotion awaits. When we cut back to Il-won and Dong-soo, we're met with the scene of firefighters rushing to douse the blazing fires around what used to be the building where Il-won was being held, with the Dong-soo sprawled in the wreckage. The lack of damage to the immediate surroundings led the workers to a terrifying thought. Wong Dong-soo was defeated in a mere instant, before the catastrophic damage that comes with the battle between 2 S-rank hunters. While planning for his next visit to the Demon Castle, Jinwoo comes to make a dramatic decision that will have massive consequences for the very delicate balance struck between the 5 major hunter guilds in Korea. He decides it is time for him to get his rank reassessed. And just like when Jinwoo did it in Season 1, Jinwoo places his hand on a machine that measures the concentration of mana in his body. This time the contraption is unable to get a rate on his levels, leading the operator to call on one of her superiors to look at the possibly faulty machine. The superior is taken aback as he explains that the machine only returns that error in situations where the hunter in question possesses an immeasurable amount of mana. The revelation leads to Sung Jinwoo being reclassified as an S-Rite, the 10th in the history of Korea. The news quickly spreads, and the major hunter guilds swoop in to try and sign Sung Jinwoo, with Hunter's guild leader Koi Jong in the first to try. However, Jinwoo coolly walks past him as he opens his mouth to speak. After being contacted by someone who was present for the reveal, White Tiger Guild leader Baek Yoon-ho rushes to the Hunter Association to speak to Jinwoo. When Jinwoo goes to the hospital to visit his mother, he runs into Woo Jinchul from the Hunter Association, who tells him that the chairman would like to have a word with him. Gunny explains to Jinwoo that they are currently on the cusp of collapsing the balance that has been established between Korea's top 5 guilds. The nation's greatest advocates right now are not the government but the hunters who protect people from magic beasts. The core of this is the 5 largest guilds. It's like 5 great dinosaurs maintaining a delicate stalemate against each other. But if Jin would join any of them, the balance would collapse. The Hunter Association is vital to the nation as a deterrent to them. A 6th power, Gunny wishes for Jinwoo to join the association, but the chairman is shocked when he hears that Jinwoo has no intention of joining any guild. The deal that Gunhee wants to give Jinwoo is incredibly sweet, guaranteeing a key role within the association and career prospects. Knowing that Jinwoo has been paying for his sister's education and his mother's medical expenses, the chairman plays a good hand in trying to bring Jinwoo on board. But he refuses. The chairman thinks that it's all about money, but Jinwoo is more motivated by the fighting itself. A job in the association would take him away from the battlefield, which he belongs to. Then we shift to Dong-soo. After being thoroughly defeated by Sung Il-won, Dong-soo is nursing several broken bones. The deputy chief of the American Hunter Association comes to ask him what his assessment of Il-won was, and a bitter Dong-soo tells him that there's no way he could be human. He recalls Il-won threatening him, telling him that if he does anything to harm his family, not even death will be enough to save him. Donso plots to find a powerful artifact that will give him the upper hand when he eventually challenges L1 again. While planning for his next visit to the Demon Castle to complete his collection of the ingredients required to craft the Elixir of Life, Jinwoo tries to get his hands on higher quality gear, as well as sell some of the loot he got in the aftermath of the battles against Vulcan and Metis. The problem he faces is that there's no way for him to justify why an E-rank hunter like him would have such high-level gear, especially when there's no record of him going on any A-rank raids. Lucky for him, there just happens to be help wanted for the mining team of an A-rank raid conducted by the Hunters Guild. Go Gunti and Wu Jinchul discuss Jinwoo, looking over his files from 4 years ago and seeing how much he persevered to make it this far. When the chairman hears that Jinwoo will participate in a Hunters Guild raid, he's disappointed to learn that it was ultimately money that swayed Jinwoo's decision, not knowing in what capacity it is that Jinwoo is participating as a miner. The power of Choi Jong-in's strike team is made abundantly clear as he clears scores of enemies with his powerful fire magic, making it possible for his team to make it through even an A-rank gate unscathed. When the strike team emerges from the gate, Chae-in had very nearly noticed Jinwoo's powerful presence, showing that her reputation as a powerful hunter is not misguided. Then Jinwoo and the other miners enter to harvest materials. During their lunch break, the workers leave the gate, giving Jinwoo the perfect opportunity to have a look at the boss room. He knows he shouldn't beat the dungeon boss because that will bring attention to him that he's been adamant he doesn't want, but he can't help himself. The boss in this dungeon is even stronger than Metis. Just as he's about to enter, Chae-in appears. As Chae-in catches Jinwoo standing in front of the Dungeon King's gate, she immediately questions his presence there. Realizing his recklessness, Jinwoo awkwardly responds he got lost and ended up in this place. He knows now that the rumors about her were not exaggerated. She was so stealthy that he hadn't even noticed her presence until she spoke. Chae-in is startled when the weapon in Jinwoo's hand suddenly vanishes. When he walks past her, ready to leave. In a cinematic moment, Chae-in experiences a strange sensation. She stops him, leans in, and takes a whiff of his scent. To her surprise, he doesn't carry the usual full odor of other hunters. Instead, he smells pleasant. Suspicious, she asks if he is truly a hunter, confirming that he is ranked as an E rank. She then steps back and warns him to be careful on his way out, as this dungeon is extremely dangerous. Jinwoo returns to the mana excavation team, where his colleagues envy his encounter with Chae. One of them mentions that she dislikes the smell of other hunters and always covers her nose with a handkerchief. This makes Jinwoo question why she found his scent different. Could it be because he is a player? After completing the excavation, Jinwoo receives his payment. The team manager thanks him for his hard work, noting that his efforts significantly sped up their progress. Impressed by his efficiency, the manager offers him a permanent position with higher pay. Initially, Jinwoo declines, but upon learning that there will be 2 raids the next day, one ranked A rank and the other C rank, he reconsiders. The team needs his help with excavation work and he agrees to join them. Meanwhile, Chae-in hires someone to gather information on Jinwoo. However, the investigator reports that no data is available on him and the Hunters Association is keeping his file confidential. This is highly unusual, considering Jinwoo is not a high-ranking hunter. Lying on her bed, Chae-in ponders Jinwoo's odd behavior inside the dungeon and wonders why the association is hiding information about him. She has met countless hunters before, yet he is the only one who has ever smelled pleasant. The following day, Jinwoo arrives at the dungeon site and is taken aback by the warm welcome from the excavation team. The moment reminds him of the past, flashing back to a similar scene from the first season, evoking a sense of nostalgia. As usual, the team is amazed by his precise and efficient work in breaking down the ores. Suddenly, Sung Ki-hoon, the leader of the strike squad, arrives. He requests to borrow one member from the mining team, as their designated equipment carrier has not shown up. Since accompanying the strike squad is dangerous, he offers additional compensation. However, fear grips the excavation team and a ranked dungeon is far too perilous for them. Just as hesitation lingers in the air, Jinwoo unexpectedly raises his hand and volunteers to carry the equipment. The strike squad consists of 6 A-class and 3 B-class hunters. Inside the dungeon, a female hunter reassures Jinwoo that he is safe as long as he doesn't flee. Monsters typically attack those who run. Their leader, Sung Ki-hoon, is on the verge of becoming an official guild master, making him all the more determined to complete this raid successfully. Suddenly, Ki-hoon senses an overwhelming presence, and without any verbal communication, the team instinctively assumes battle formation. A pack of dungeon foxes emerges, and the squad demonstrates incredible coordination and combat prowess, eliminating them with ease. However, Jinwoo finds it odd. Why are C-rank fox monsters in an A-rank dungeon? Observing the foxes closely, he notices colors around their necks. His sharp instincts tell him that these creatures belong to someone, possibly being used as hunting hounds. Before he can analyze further, monstrous orcs make their entrance. One of the orcs attacks with a massive spear, shattering Sung Ki-hoon's shield upon impact. A fierce battle erupts between the squad and the orcs. Initially, the strike team holds its ground, but as the fight drags on, the difference in strength becomes apparent. The orcs' tough bodies and sheer numbers gradually overwhelm them. When a B-class fighter gets injured, a healer rushes to aid him. However, just as she starts healing, an orc sneaks up behind her. Accepting her imminent demise, she closes her eyes, bracing for the end. But then in an instant, the orc is lifted into the air, choking as if being strangled by an unseen force. It's Jinwoo. He dispatches the orc effortlessly in a blink. Without drawing attention, Jinwoo subtly assists the strike team by weakening enemies, ensuring they remain unaware of his interventions. After the battle, some members of the squad noticed an unusual shift in the orcs' movements. Their attacks had suddenly slowed at times, as if something had been interfering with them. One observant member realizes that Jinwoo was the one responsible. She caught a glimpse of him using stealth magic. Instead of exposing him, she decides to keep it to herself, understanding that he had helped them for a reason. After careful consideration, Ki-hoon decides that it is best to retreat temporarily. They need more healers and at least 3 additional magic users to proceed safely. However, as they reach the dungeon gate, they are met with an alarming sight. A powerful barrier prevents their exit. Those who attempt to break the barrier are struck with an ominous force, filling them with sheer terror. As they turn around, their worst fears are realized. A massive army of orcs awaits them in the darkness. Ki-hoon quickly understands that if they fight now, they will all perish. Suddenly, one of the orcs steps forward, possessed by a powerful presence. Speaking through the orc's body, a deep and commanding voice echoes through the dungeon. The figure introduces himself as Kargalgan and states that he wishes to meet them. When Ki-hoon asks if he is the one responsible for sealing the dungeon, Kargalgan confirms it. Ki-hoon then asks if there is anyone stronger than him within the dungeon. Enraged by the question, Kargalgan gives them 2 grim choices: die at the hands of his soldiers now or enter his domain. With no viable option, Sung Ki-hoon chooses the latter. He secretly instructs Jinwoo that when the battle begins, he must escape and alert the main strike team outside for reinforcement. The team's healer, sensing impending doom, hands Jinwoo a final request: to deliver her last words to her family. She pleads with him to survive. As despair spreads among the team, Jinwoo is reminded of the nightmare of the Double Dungeon Massacre. Outside the dungeon, Chae-hee searches for Jinwoo and is stunned to learn that he is merely serving as an equipment carrier inside the raid. Meanwhile, a cinematic shot reveals the orc armies marching inside a colossal fortress. The atmosphere is drenched in dread as the strike team stands paralyzed with fear. Seated on his throne, the great orc warlord welcomes them to their doom. Kargalgan belittles the hunters, referring to them as mere toys and orchestrating their suffering for his amusement. That feeling of worthlessness amplifies when they feel the power of Kargalgan. Kargalgan says they are nothing more than toys for them to break, which drives home just how dire the situation is. Ki-hoon, determined to protect his team, rushes in headfirst, determined to lead the battle even though it seems hopeless. He is unsurprisingly tossed around like a rag doll, forcing Jinwoo to make a choice, otherwise the group will all die. As despair looms over the hunters, Jinwoo steps forward to confront Kargalgan. Recognizing the dire situation, he decides to reveal his true strength, a move that risks exposing his concealed abilities. He summons his shadow soul, commanding them to rise with the word rise. These soldiers, emanating a pale blue light, emerge from his shadow, ready to battle the high orc army. Kargalgan mocks Jinwoo's shadow army, underestimating their power. In response, Jinwoo unveils a new skill that enhances his soldiers' capabilities, initiating a fierce battle between his shadow army and Kargalgan's forces. The clash is intense, showcasing Jinwoo's strategic prowess and the strength of his summoned allies. The clash between Jinwoo's shadow army and Kargalgan's high orcs is incredible. The animation is so fluid and brings the action to life, but the real battle is between Jinwoo and Kargalgan, and Kargalgan begins attacking Jinwoo, but the attack has no effect on him as Jinwoo is immune to poison. Jinwoo then uses his magic shadows to destroy Kargalgan's armor. In response, Kargalgan transforms into a giant and starts wreaking havoc, destroying everything around him. However, Jinwoo uses speed to evade Kargalgan's fire attacks and strikes him in the eye. Enraged, Kargalgan turns the area into hell. Jinwoo manages to bind Kargalgan and brings him crashing down. The hunter Chae-hee and the surveillance team arrive just in time to watch Jinwoo go all out on Kargalgan. It makes it impossible for him to hide his true strength anymore. Jinwoo transforms Kargalgan into a shadow and names him Tusk. He is surprised to discover that the manager was watching him. The Hunters Guild team decides to keep this a secret and takes Jinwoo away. Chae-hee appears very confused and shy. The next day, we see a mysterious man in a car. I wonder who he is and what his purpose is. The episode starts with a large group of media waiting outside the Hunters Association headquarters. The assumption is that they are somehow there for Jinwoo, but in reality they are there to see famous actor Lee Min-sung, who is set to make an announcement. The revelation that he is an A-rank hunter is massive news for the rest of Korea, or at least it is supposed to be. Min-sung's plan is to spend the next 2 years as an A-rank hunter so that people can forget his scandals, and then people will love him again as a hunter who defend people's lives. But Jinwoo's arrival throws off Min-sung's big announcement when the association steps in to bring Jinwoo inside for his reassessment. Inside the headquarters, we see Baek Yoon-ho and Choi Jong-in. They are waiting for Jinwoo's test results. The reassessment itself is relatively simple. Jinwoo shows his ability to summon his shadow army, which leaves everyone everyone in a state of astonishment and terror from Jinwoo's magical power. Even the manager of the Hunters Guild himself is surprised when Jinwoo says that he can summon 100 more. After a short while, Jinwoo receives his new card, which has an S rating. Two of the top guilds try to recruit him, but in typical Jinwoo fashion, he is only concerned with getting out of there. When he leaves the building, he is surprised by the huge number of journalists and cameras. Yes, he is the 10th hunter in the history of Korea who ranked S. We see the surprised faces of everyone who knows Jinwoo, his sister, Chae, and even the healer who saved him hundreds of times from an imminent death when he was weak in E rank. And she looks so proud. Baek Yunho offers to help Jinwoo get out of the crowd, but surprised when Jinwoo disappears and escapes from the journalists. Yunho is terrified by Jinwoo's speed, which himself has never reached. He notices that Jinwoo is getting stronger and stronger with time, making him not just a hunter who has had his second awakening, but a hunter who can continuously become stronger. Then we saw Jinho with Jinwoo. Jinho has been trying to recruit Jinwoo to join his guild, but is rebuffed when Jinwoo tells him he has his own mission to accomplish first. Jinho is a loyal friend to Jinwoo, so he tells his father he won't be following his dream of running his own guild. He is so determined to help his friend that he has no qualms about disappointing his father, something that makes him one of the best side characters in the series. And personally, I likes him a lot. He visits a hunter auction site and meets a seller there. Jinwoo confirms he wants to purchase an artifact to help him resist the heat in dungeons. The seller shows him a cloak and ring. Jinwoo's interested in the items, but doesn't adore its pricing. The seller jokes about selling Jinwoo the items for free if he can break the glass that's covering them. The seller stops Jinwoo from doing so and tells him he is joking. Then, another seller offers to help Jinwoo find a weapon. The seller shows Jinwoo a weapon and Jinwoo doesn't like the price of this one either. Jinwoo realizes the weapons he purchases from the player log shop are more expensive. Then Jinwoo returns home and tells Jinna he'll be away for a week. After seconds, Jinho arrives and Jinwoo introduces Jinho to Gina, saying he'll be working with Jinho for a week from tomorrow. Later, Jinwoo summons some of his high orc shadows. Jinwoo entrusts 2 high orcs to Jinna. He wants them to protect her while he's away. Then he heads to the rooftop and summons more shadow soldiers. He orders them to patrol the area. On the next day, Jinho drops Jinwoo off at Dizeng Tower. Jinwoo tells Jinho that he'll be training for a while. Then Jinwoo arrives at the Demon's Castle dungeon. He equips several accessories, learns about his new tasks, and teleports to the 76th floor. Then we saw Jinho's father passes out at his home with no reason. Jinwoo encounters a large demon on the 76th floor. He summons a high orc shadow named Kiba and gives him an item called Sphere of Avarice. With the sphere, Kiba destroys the demon. At a hospital, Mingen's wife tells Myungen that he collapsed from overwork. Then, Mingen's doctor arrives. Mingen's doctor tells Myungen that he possibly has eternal slumber disease. Yes, the same disease that Jinwoo's mother suffers from. After 2 hunters encounter a bug like Magic Beast, we return to following Jinwoo. Jinwoo confirms he's reached the 80th floor. Jinwoo explains he split his shadow army into 4 groups. He learns the first group is in trouble and investigates. Jinwoo encounters the Demon Knight who gave his first group trouble and fights them. After Jinwoo defeats 3 of the 4 Demon Knights easily, he approaches the 4th one and asks him if magic beasts can feel fear. Jinwoo fighting a female Demon Knight. Before Jinwoo kills her, he hears a female voice. The Night Girl surrenders. He removes her helmet and shocked, a pretty hot demon girl shows up. She apologizes and asks for forgiveness for her life. Jinwoo is confused and walks away. The Knight attempts to harm Jinwoo, but Tusk prevents the woman from harming Jinwoo. When her attempt failed again, she apologizes again so that he can forgive her. Yes, she is so stupid, to be honest. Jinwoo and the Knight make a deal. The Knight says she will get Jinwoo the floor entry permit, but he must spare her life. Jinwoo accepts the Knight's offer and she tags along with Jinwoo. The Knight introduces herself as Ezel, the eldest daughter of the Radiru family. Jinwoo asks her if there is a voice in her head always telling her to kill people. Ezel tells Jinwoo that the voice in her head tells her to protect their space. Ezel reveals she and the other knights were in the demon realm before. She says she and the other knights found themselves in this area after they came to their senses. Ezel states that she and the others were preparing for a war with a formidable adversary, but suddenly she feels dizzy and feigns exhaustion. It seems that there are mysterious forces affecting her and preventing her from speaking. Meanwhile, Wu discusses a recent event with several Hunter Association officials, including Go. The meeting highlights an island fiasco involving giant magic beast insects who killed the people and several hunters, and many citizens died. Number of civilian casualties was 294. Go tells Wu to warn neighboring islands about it. Then, Go kickstarts the 4th Jeju Island raid mission with the help of Japan because they are also threatened to the same degree. Jinwoo, Tusk, and Ezel arrive at the Radiru family's castle. Jinwoo receives a permit from Ezel's father and permission to have Ezel accompany him as a guide, and he promises to keep her safe. He needs Ezel to pinpoint the location of each floor's permits. Eventually, Jinwoo, Ezel, and the others complete the 89th floor. Jinwoo successfully obtains several permits and Igris and Tank leveled up. Their level has really improved a lot, and they have become like S and A rank hunters. Then we see Choi and Hey, and discuss the 4th Jeju Island raid mission. And all rank hunters will be called in due to the seriousness of the mission. On the 100th floor, Jinwoo and Easel notice the place is completely empty, but suddenly a giant dragon swoops down from the sky, attacking them. Jinwoo skillfully dodges the attack, and that's when we see the one riding the dragon. It's Baran, and his aura is absolutely terrifying. Baran summons a massive army of demons through huge gates, but Jinwoo isn't phased. He calls upon his shadow army, and just like always, an epic battle breaks out. Jinwoo's shadows vs Baran's demons. But there's a problem. Baran steps in and unleashes a devastating lightning attack, covering the entire battlefield in thunder and wiping out many of Jinwoo's shadows. At the last second, just before Easel gets hit, Jinwoo rushes in and saves her with incredible speed and skill. Without wasting a moment, he charges forward, aiming to cut off the dragon's wings, but Baran reacts just in time, blocking him effortlessly and throwing him back with a powerful blow. Jinwoo barely dodges, but he quickly gives orders to Tusk and Aegris. Tusk counters the lightning with his fire, and Aegris lands a clean strike, decapitating the dragon. And now, it's time for the long-awaited showdown. Jinwoo against Baran. First, we see Hanakawa and Draw Swords Guildmaster Goto Ryuji meet with Go-Woo and several Hunter Association officials. Hanakawa shares what her guild discovered about the insect magic beasts. Goto says he will be dispatched to the Jeju Island raid mission. He promises to lure out the other ants while the others kill the queen ant and go accept that plan. Jinwoo, Tusk, and Aegris charge at Baran, but he knocks them all back like it's nothing. Yeah, Baran is on a whole different level. He pins Jinwoo down, ready to finish him off, but right before the final blow, Tusk jumps in and blocks the attack. Jinwoo doesn't waste the chance and he breaks free. But there's a problem. His mana is completely drained. From this point on, it's a one-on-one fight. And man, what a fight. It's fast, intense, and absolutely insane. Baran is overpowering Jinwoo, sending his weapons flying. Just when it looks like it's over, Baran lunges at him for the final strike. But Jinwoo manages to stop him at the last second. Then Baran pulls his trump card, a massive lightning blast from his mouth, aiming to end Jinwoo once and for all. But at the last moment, Easel distracts him. Jinwoo doesn't hesitate. He seizes the moment, rips Baran's hands off, and delivers a devastating final punch that puts an end to everything. Yes, Jinwoo just defeated an enemy far stronger than him. Completely exhausted, he collapses to the ground, but with a victorious smile, he looks at Easel and tells her to tell her father that the Radiru family will be at the top of the rank. Easel bursts into tears of pure joy. After the devastating battle, Jinwoo checked his belongings and confirmed that he had finally obtained all the necessary ingredients to craft the elixir of Lef. Without hesitation, he began the process, and within seconds, it was successful. He now held the elixir that could cure his mother's illness. Meanwhile, Ain arrived carrying the dragon's body to Jinwoo. Acknowledging his efforts, Jinwoo praised him before extracting the dragon's shadow, officially adding a new member to his army. As he deliberated on a name, he ultimately settled on Kaisel. Easel, standing nearby, expressed him eager to return to the castle for a celebration. However, Jinwoo's mind was elsewhere. His only priority was to return home and administer the elixir to his mother. He recalled another reward from the mission, a peculiar stone. Examining it, he discovered that it granted him the ability to switch places with one of his shadow soldiers. Wasting no time, he activated the stone, bidding farewell to Eisel, who appeared hesitant as if she wished to say something, but in an instant, Jinwoo exchanged positions with one of his shadow soldiers stationed in the city and swiftly made his way to the hospital. At the same time, the director Go was seen discussing the strategy to combat the ants. He outlined a plan involving a signal that would serve to distract the ants and eliminate the queen. However, he emphasized that if the signal failed, they would have no choice but to retreat. Elsewhere, Yuno sat drinking with his friend Byung-gu. It was revealed that Byung-gu was a former S-rank healer, had retired at a young age despite suffering no severe injuries. He hated blood and fights so much. The two had been teammates in the past. Their conversation soon shifted to the upcoming battle, with Byung-gu questioning whether Yoonho planned to join the fight against the ants. He then brought up Unsik, their third companion, who had tragically fallen to the ants. Yoonho, his expression resolute, affirmed that Unsik's fate was precisely why he would fight. Meanwhile, Jinwoo sat beside his mother in the hospital, his mind flooded with memories. He recalled a moment from his childhood when she had shielded him from boiling water, pretending as if nothing had happened. Reflecting on his past and his journey as a hunter, he silently prayed for the elixir's success. With a deep breath, he administered the potion to his mother and watched in astonishment as her burn scar vanished. As the aura around her body dissipated, despair gripped him. Just as he began to lose hope, the moonlight illuminated the room in a cinematic scene, and to his utter surprise, his mother sat and smiled at him. Softly, she asked how long she had been asleep. With a voice thick with emotion, Jinwoo responded, 4 years. Overwhelmed, she touched his face. At that moment, the mighty and indomitable Jinwoo broke down in his mother's arms. tears streaming down his face. In the next day, Gino was seen crying in their mother's embrace as well. Jinwoo acknowledged that all his efforts had finally borne fruit. This was the reward he had long desired. Soon after, director Go officially addressed the press, announcing a raid on Jeju Island. This time, Japan would be assisting, and he confidently declared that they would bring an end to the threat once and for all. Back at Jinwoo's house, the scene was anything but orderly. In just 1 week, Gina had managed to turn the place into a mess. The family, now reunited, took the time to clean together, creating a warm and nostalgic atmosphere that had long been absent from their lives. However, despite the joyful moment, Jinwoo remained unsettled. Meanwhile, President Go discussed Jinchul about Thomas Anger, an S-rank hunter from America whose strength was said to rival an entire army. It was revealed that Ander had arrived in Korea, though the reason for his visit remained unknown. Later, Jinwoo met with Go, who elaborated on the plan and expressed his desire to assist in eliminating the ants. Before their conversation could continue, Jinwoo suddenly sensed an overwhelming aura. Go explained that the S-rank fighters were currently training together. The scene shifted to a duel between Yoonho and another powerful fighter. Despite his strength, Yoonho was swiftly defeated. It was soon revealed that his opponent was an S-rank hunter from the famed guild. However, Yoonho had been holding back, aware that unleashing his full power would transform him into a monster. Nearby, Chahi observed Jinwoo in silence. Soon, the long-awaited guests arrived, the Japanese hunters led by their president, Goto Ryuji. Upon sensing Jinwoo's presence, Goto briefly acknowledged his immense aura before choosing to disregard it. However, tensions quickly rose as the Japanese hunters underestimated their Korean counterparts, injuring Park Junsu, the head of the Knights Guild. In response, Goto proposed a friendly competition between the S-rank hunters. The rules were simple. Only combat fighters would participate, and a contestant would lose if their wrist was grabbed or if they were tagged on the back. Rather than one-on-one matches, the battles would be a free-for-all. With both sides prepared, an intense clash was about to begin. Jungkook activated Beast Mood and turned to Gaint Beast. The battle started and Yeonho went to the masked guy. They all start fighting chaotically. Speed, agility, and even flying in the air. Yoonho realizes his opponent. He isn't a great combatant. Yeonho transformed into semi-beast and the fight gets serious. Dongwook lost and Taeju pinned to the wall. But Cha-hee was amazing and moved so smoothly, and yeah, that's why they call her the dancer. Cha-hee defeats her opponent and tries to rush to Yeonho's side. Before she reaches Yoonho, the masked guy ambushes her, but with speed and agility, Chae-hee strikes him. He enters an uncontrollable berserk mode, attacking Cha-hee with ferocity and speed. Just before landing his final blow, yes, Jinwoo appears. Jinwoo blocks his attack, saying he went too far. He grows even angrier, but Jinwoo pins him to the ground effortlessly. Goto watched in disbelief. Goto wanted to fight Jinwoo and sent the translator to him. Jinwoo agreed he wanted to test his strength after the events of the Demon Castle. Jinwoo says he'll fight Goto, but Goto must go all out, which annoys Goto. The battle between Jinwoo and the strongest hunter in Japan is about to begin. Meanwhile, Jui heads outside and calls someone. Jui asks the person questions about the Jeju Island Raid Mission Sentry team. Then we back to Jinwoo and Goto. Before Jinwoo finishes his sentence, Goto launches a powerful massive punch, but Jinwoo dodges it at the last moment. Goto realizes that this won't be easy. The fight begins and Jinwoo realizes that Goto is stronger than any hunter he has ever faced before. Goto grows even more furious when he sees Jinwoo's provocative smile and increases his speed. However, it's all useless against Jinwoo's incredible agility. Jinwoo was toying against Goto. The S-rank hunters are shocked by Jinwoo's speed as he effortlessly dodges all of Goto's punches. Goto changes his strategy and unleashes everything he has against Jinwoo. But then what? Jinwoo blocks his punch, grabs his hand, and smiles coldly. Then, they unleash their auras, shocking all the hunters. Just before they clash, Yoonho and Cha-hee step in to stop Jinwoo, while the same happens with Goto. They save the situation before it spiraled out of control. Jinwoo admits that he got too excited during his fight with Goto. While Jinwoo receives compliments for his fight with Goto, he reveals that he infiltrated shadow soldiers into the group's shadows without anyone noticing. Later, Jinwoo chats with Go about the Jeju Island raid mission. Goto calls someone and learns that Jinwoo is not on the Jeju Island raid mission hunter list. Cho-hee reports this intel to Choi, and Yoonho learns Byung-gu isn't listed here too. Choi tells Yoonho that they have 15 S-rank hunters participating in the mission, and it's time to end everything. Meanwhile, Jinwoo returns home, and he is surprised to find his mother and sister waiting for him. Yes, he had missed this warm family atmosphere so much. At the dinner, Jinwoo reveals he didn't want to go to Jeju Island because he wanted to spend time with his family. On Jeju Island, a large queen ant watches several ants eating one another. The Queen Ant says they must leave this island for the food and hopes one of her children will be strong enough to lead them. And finally, we see that the sun has emerged from the giant egg. His power seems terrifying and unprecedented. Meanwhile, a news reporter informs the public about the ants and the Hunter Association's strategies to defeat them. The reporter says the association wants all hunters to join the sentry team. Eventually, several hunter groups travel to Jeju Island. And now, all the hunters are determined to defend their homeland against the strange flying creatures. To Yoonhoo's surprise, Bugu shows up and greets him. Eventually, Go tells the hunters to begin the mission. The raid begins, all military ships lined up while Park Jong-soo led the lower-rank hunters to protect Korea. The Japanese hunters take their positions to distract the ants, and a hunter was even sent with the Korean team to livestream the entire raid. The Japanese hunters unleashed a ridiculous amount of aura to draw out all the ant soldiers, but the flying ones were aiming straight for the helicopter. But Choi destroys them by arrows, then a huge fireball. Choi's group exits the helicopter while another group activates their interference waves. The waves will prevent the ants from receiving the Queen's distress signals. While several groups defeat ants, Choi's group enters a cave. Choi seals the cave. Bak notices several tunnels around him. Choi uses his fire powers to figure out which path leads to the Queen's chamber. Choi and the others find an egg nest in an open cocoon, which means that the sun has left his nest. Meanwhile, Kenzo regroups with his team and asks his comrade Shimizu to heal him. Shimizu says she wants something in return. Before Kenzo can ask Shimizu what she wants, her head had already been sliced clean off. Definitely, this is the sun, the strongest creature on this planet.
Shimizu's severed head, her body collapsing to the ground as Kenzo and Tatsumi watch in terror. The Ant King eliminates Kenzo and Tatsumi instantly before they can even fight. Yes, the king is on a completely different level. Then the scene shifts to the S-rank hunters battling the ants. We learn that the white ants are all S-rank level and have tougher bodies than the rest of the ants. We witness an incredible display from Cha-hee as she slays an ant with unmatched elegance. Meanwhile, Yuno uses his senses to detect the presence of the Ant Queen deep inside, heavily guarded. The team prepares to venture deeper, where they will face the Ant Queen for the first and last time. At that moment, reinforcements from the Japanese hunters arrive after losing contact with Team Charlie. They find countless ant corpses, but also spot Tatsumi's glasses. Slowly, they begin to grasp what happened. Yes, a terrifying and overwhelming presence looms over them. In the presence of the king, only death awaits. In sheer fear and panic, Ki releases his ice in a final attempt to defend himself. But against whom? The king ends it in a single second. The Korean hunters reach the queen's chamber, only to be met with hundreds, no, thousands, of ants. They begin the battle according to plan. Dongwook takes the front line, blocking their attacks with his shield, while Choi engulfs them in his hellish flames. However, the white ants remain a formidable obstacle. At that moment, Yoonho fully unleashes his beast transformation, tearing through them one by one with overwhelming power. Amidst all the chaos, we know from our cameraman that 80% of South Korea's population is now watching the live broadcast. They witness the S-rank hunters pushing forward, determined to eliminate the ant threat once and for all. A legendary synergy between the hunters. They slay the ants with incredible harmony and precision. Finally, after eliminating all the royal guards, only one remains, the Ant Queen. She launches an attack on Dongwook, but it's merely a distraction tactic. Taegyu strikes her from behind with his arrows, while Yoonho attacks from the front. However, the queen releases her deadly poison, affecting them instantly, but Byungyu heals them at the very same moment. The queen tries to attack Byungyu, but Dongwook and the four-eyed fire guy stand in her way, intercepting her attack and engulfing her in flames. The queen lets out a deafening scream. Yes, a distress call. She desperately tries to escape, but our hunters won't let her. They successfully pin her, and now it's Cha-hee's turn. With a massive power boost, she dashes forward at insane speed, slicing off all of the queen's legs. Then, in a final decisive strike, she leaps at her neck, ending it once and for all. Pure joy spreads everywhere. Yes, it's over. The ant threat has been eradicated. The hardest raid they have ever faced has finally come to an end. The hunters rejoice, but a moment of doubt creeps in. The queen's scream from moments ago lingers in their minds. And yes, it's time for bad news. The signal that was distracting the rest of the ants has been disrupted. Now, all of them are returning to their nest, putting our hunters in serious trouble. Choi notices that his fiery barrier has been shattered, but that's when the true horror begins. Yoonho senses something approaching, an overwhelming presence. Fear grips them all. The Ant King. possessing a humanoid form with a dark exoskeleton and wings. The Ant King exudes an overwhelming aura of menace. Jahi collapses in terror. When Dongwook tries to step forward, the king brushes past him, ignoring all the hunters. He approaches his mother's corpse and begins to devour it. Then, without any warning, the king strikes the one who killed his mother. The sheer force of the attack shatters her torso and left arm instantly. Jahi is out now. Dongwook tries to attack, but the king mercilessly shatters his shield and both of his arms without hesitation. Then comes the turn of Yunho, Choi, and Taegyu. Just as the king is about to end Taegyu's life, Dongwook intervenes. Yes, as long as they have their healer, they can't be defeated. But that's only if he stays alive. Despite activating his stealth skill, the king senses him. In an instant, the king's hand pierces through his body. Then, without mercy, he devours him right before Yunho's eyes. Yunho desperately tries to attack, but the king grabs him by the throat, choking him. Then, for the first time, the king speaks. He declares that they are all weak, accusing them of killing their queen, and then he asks, "Where is the king of humans?" Then, the king senses a powerful presence from outside. Yes, he's referring to Geto. Outside, Geto realizes that many have already died. He arrives at the scene, only to be shocked by the sheer brutality of their opponent. Geto reports his Jeju Island progress to Chairman Matsumoto. He tells Matsumoto that the other group's chances of victory are slim. Matsumoto thinks this is great since it will give their country glory for conquering an S-rank gate. Then Matsumoto orders his hunters to withdraw and rendezvous with the second strike force in the fleet. Yes, this is a grand betrayal. But before they can retreat, the king appears and decapitates Ishida in an instant. Goto tells his other ally to head to sea with Bravo and prep for the next phase. Goto's ally departs. Then Goto tells the king that he's everyone's king. The king emits the same magic power aura as Jinwoo and attacks Goto. Meanwhile, more ants approach Baek's group. Choi pushes them back with his fire powers, but he's starting to lose strength. Before Baek's group falls, Jinwoo's shadow soldiers appear and hold the ants back, and the episode ends as Jinwoo utters a single word: exchange. Finally, the goat steps onto the battlefield. Our cameraman had no clue what was going on, and the hunters were even more lost. Igris and Iron came in smashing bugs, while Tusk turned those insects into ground beef. Our hunters were completely baffled, while Choi was trying to process what Jinwoo was even doing there and how he even arrived. Inside the broadcast station, chaos erupts. No one knows why the live feed suddenly cut off right at the moment when the black ant appeared. Chairman Go desperately tries to get any updates, but nothing. We see the frustration in his eyes, resenting his own aging body. If only he were younger, he would have been fighting alongside them instead of being stuck here powerless. Then, we see Jinna slamming the TV in frustration, complaining about the weak signal, unaware that her brother is on the island right now, facing the ants alone. Then, we know that Goto is dead, slain by the king. The Japanese guy is furious, his rage boiling over. Back on the battlefield, Jinwoo's shadow army tears through the ants, showing no mercy. Yes, this is what we've been waiting to see since the beginning of the battle. Yunho asks Jinwoo how he got here, but Jinwoo simply hands him a potion and orders them to drink. And as soon as they do, all their injuries vanish, as if they were never crushed by the king just moments ago. But when Jinwoo gives the potion to Chahi, her body doesn't respond. Yes, her energy is far too low, too weak to even react to a healing potion. As Jinwoo frantically searches for a way to save his girl, thousands of ants swarm in, blocking the only way out. Jinwoo orders the hunters to stay behind Tusk and take down any ant that gets too close. Just as Jinwoo is about to turn the dead ants into his soldiers, everyone is shocked. The ants suddenly retreat, clearing the way for the king. Yes, the terrifying aura returns. The Ant King speaks. There was no king of humans outside. And then Jinwoo steps forward. In a breathtaking moment, the king of humans stands before the king of ants. Jinwoo smirks, mocking the Ant King, calling him a mere chattering bug. The Ant King lets out a deafening roar and boom! The broadcast signal is back. The live feed resumes and the world watches in shock. What is Jinwoo doing there? How? When did he arrive? These questions race through President Go's mind, but deep down, he knows. Humanity's last hope rests on this man. The Ant King throws a punch at Jinwoo, but nothing happens. Jinwoo's body, like steel, doesn't budge an inch. Jinwoo grabs the Ant King and slams him into the ground. Then, boom! He delivers a punch of his own, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. And just like that, a brutal fistfight erupts. Fists fly, bones crack, the ground trembles under their sheer force. But don't get too excited yet. This is only the warm-up. With a final punch, Jinwoo sends the Ant King soaring through the air. The Ant King's instincts scream at him. This human isn't normal. With newfound urgency, he lunges at Jinwoo. But Jinwoo's fist meets his face. Yet, in a split second before Jinwoo can react, a sharp sting. Yes, it's poison. Jinwoo's movements slow. His body freezes. When the king thinks he has finished everything, it turns out that Jinwoo blocked his attack and even punched him again, sending him flying once more. Jinwoo wants to end this fight quickly. He wants to save his girl's life before she gone. The king realizes that he needs to increase his power level. And indeed, he transforms. He goes berserk and finally takes on his terrifying new form, ready to tear Jinwoo apart. Jinwoo summons his daggers, and now, the real battle begins. Baru launches his attack, but Jinwoo blocks it. An incredibly fast exchange of strikes, both moving at insane speeds. Baru unleashes his ice, but Jinwoo dodges them hardly. The battle intensifies, their speed escalating to an unimaginable level. No one can keep up with their movements. It's pure madness. Baru realizes that Jinwoo's speed doesn't just match his, it surpasses it. What a majestic and awe-inspiring battle. Jinwoo throws his daggers at Baru and successfully lands multiple punches. But suddenly, Baru pins Jinwoo to the ground, preparing to deliver the final blow. But in an instant, Jinwoo cuts Baru for the first time, and he doesn't stop slicing. Baru regenerates his limbs and uses his ice, attempting to escape. But from whom? Jinwoo catches up to him, attacking from above and completely slicing him apart. In a final attempt, Baru summons his ant army to attack Jinwoo, but Jinwoo's shadow army is there to intercept them. And in a majestic moment, the true king stands victorious and proud against the fake one. Baru can only think of escaping, but Jinwoo pounces on him, cutting him down completely this time, ending the life of that insect once and for all. As the remaining ants retreat, Jinwoo rushes back to his girl, only to find that her condition has worsened even further. In a final attempt, he tries to heal her using the elixir of life, but unfortunately, it fails once again. It seems there is no way out. Will Cha-hei really die, even after they've won the war? Everyone now gathers around Cha-hei, desperately trying to find a way to save her before she slips away. Jinwoo demands the cameraman to turn off the camera, or else he'll break it. Once the feed is cut, Jinwoo stands before Byung-gu's lifeless body. Yoonho, stunned, asks what he's doing. To everyone's shock, Jinwoo extracts a shadow from Byung-gu's corpse. Such an overwhelming power. It's terrifying beyond words and must not be revealed to the public. Jinwoo explains that he heard Byung-gu's voice. He wanted Jinwoo to use his power. Without even needing a command, Byung-gu's shadow immediately heals Cha-hei. Yes, even after death, he remains the same, a kind soul who rushes to help others. What a truly beautiful person. Yoonho tells Jinwoo that Byung-gu always despised being on the battlefield. He asks Jinwoo for a favor, not to make Byung-gu fight. Jinwoo reassures him, saying he had the same thought. With that, Jinwoo releases Byung-gu's shadow. In that moment, Byung-gu smiles at Yoonho, bringing tears to his eyes. Meanwhile, the Japanese man loses his mind. How did they survive? How? Yes, Jinwoo's intervention changed everything. At that moment, the remaining ants go berserk, storming out of the nest and attacking anything and everything in sight. The other hunters do their best to hold them off, but the sheer number of ants is overwhelming. Quickly, the S-rank hunters rush to the helicopter, deciding to retreat from this madness. They know staying would only burden Jinwoo. Though Cha-hei has recovered from her fatal injuries, she still needs proper medical attention. Left alone, Jinwoo takes matters into his own hands. With his legendary sword, he burns the remaining eggs and wipes out the rest of the ants inside the nest. And finally, Jinwoo reaches level 100. He receives a key that grants him access to the same double dungeon he first entered at the beginning of his journey. But the moment everyone was waiting for, Jinwoo extracts Baru's shadow. And yes, he is so powerful. In a shocking twist, Baru speaks, surprising Jinwoo. He is the first shadow soldier to ever talk. When Baru requests a name, Jinwoo grants him one, Baru. Outside, chaos erupts. The ants have already reached the mainland, clashing violently with the hunters. Jinwoo wastes no time. He commands Baru to wipe out the remaining ants, and without hesitation, Baru springs into action. saving Master Song at the very last second. With unbelievable speed and relentless ferocity, Baru cuts down the ants mercilessly. Watching this, Juhi realizes this is Jinwoo. Meanwhile, aboard the helicopter, the hunters struggle to fend off the swarming ants. The barrier shatters, and just as they're about to be overwhelmed, Jinwoo intervenes at the last possible moment. Yes, once again, he saves them. At last, the threat of the ants has been eliminated. Relief and joy spread among the survivors. Though the damage was severe, they have finally put an end to this disaster. But on the coast of China, a few surviving ants managed to make it ashore. There, for the first time, we see him, a mysterious hunter. And with a single strike, he wipes out the ants effortlessly. Yes, he is on an entirely different level. At the funeral, everyone gathers to mourn the victims. Jinwoo is there alongside Yoonho. Yoonho tells Jinwoo to keep his head high because without him, the number of casualties would have been far worse. His intervention prevented a true catastrophe. Jinwoo then meets with Chairman Go. With deep gratitude, Go expresses his thanks and insists on finding a way to repay Jinwoo. He then asks Jinwoo about his plans moving forward, warning him that after displaying such overwhelming power, people will inevitably start pursuing him. Jinwoo's answer is clear. He will establish his own guild. At the same time, several low-rank hunters return to the Queen Ant's home to perform cleaning duties. They meet an unnamed hunter, and this hunter's ally knocks them out with his powers. The unknown hunters put the remaining hunters to sleep. They speak in hushed voices about something mysterious, something we do not yet understand. But as they leave, we see Jinwoo's father trailing them from the shadows. It seems that something incredible awaits us next season. Meanwhile, Jinwoo talks with Jinho and Sungyi. They are thrilled about his new guild, and Sungyi eagerly asks him to hire her as a staff member there. Then Jinwoo receives a phone call from Go while he's driving in traffic. Go tells Jinwoo that a B-rank gate formed nearby. Jinwoo enters the gate. After Jinwoo enters, it turns red. Then many magic beasts surround Jinwoo. Jinwoo summons his army and fights the magic beasts. Meanwhile, Choi meets Cha-hee somewhere. Cha-hee tells Choi she wants to get stronger to stand beside Jinwoo. As Jinwoo's army fights the magic beasts, he reflects on why people pursue the hunter lifestyle. Some hunt to protect their family, some to uphold their principles, some to prove themselves, and some to defy their fate. And so, the hunters continue their hunt. Season 2 ends with an infinite aura scene, Jinwoo resolute, heading toward his next target. And with that, I finally finished Season 2. It was an incredible journey, filled with thrilling moments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we won't stop until we reach 100,000.